No, it's good. Body feels good, energy feels good. So, just try to keep those where they need to be and keep pushing it.
The team's struggling right now. What are you seeing from the crease in terms of what needs to be better?
I mean, first and foremost, when you're going through stretches like this as a team, you got to think your individual game and how you could be better personally for the team, and you get 20 guys that think of it that way, and all 20 improve a little game by game. So that's where my focus is how can I make another save or two a game, help this team get over the hump. So that's what I'll be thinking about.
As a team, sometimes when you go through stuff like this, just try to have to get back to keeping it simple and not trying to do too much.
I mean, I think that's a very easy term to throw out there. Just keep it simple. Like it's I think it's more a sense of our structure and what we know what we have to do that gives us the best chance to play hockey and win hockey games. So I think that's the focus more than anything.
Lots are made about the home struggles. Is it mental? Is there something about the home road stuff? Or are we thinking too much about that?
I think you're thinking too much about that. Yeah.
And just you guys obviously confidence plays a lot into. You got to play with confidence. You got to play with swag. How do you get that back, or how do you get to that level?
And that's kind of on an individual term, right? Like everyone's confidence levels rise and drop throughout the season. There's ebbs and flows to it. The more individuals that you have playing confident, the more confident the team will be. So, and from my experience over the past, the way you grow your confidence is you build it, shift by shift. And for me, save by save. So, yeah.
He was talking last night, or a couple of you guys mentioned a fragile group right now, just because of what you guys are going through. How do you get past that as a group?
You got to work through it. There's no answer really. It's just trying to come together as a group, trying to, like I said, have some enthusiasm, try to have fun with the game, and then getting better at the things that we're doing wrong. Obviously, we have to go into it and watch video and try to make ourselves better, see what we did wrong, improve on it. Put all that together, I guess.
When you have such good stretches and one thing will go wrong, how do you sort of keep the stuff from snowballing and focus on the stuff that is going right? I know that's easier said than done, but how do you sort of weigh one versus the other in terms of the little mistakes versus long stretches of a great start yesterday, a great play in Florida? How do you balance that?
Yeah, it's tough sometimes, especially when things are going wrong. But in a time like last night, going up 2-0 in the first period, I think it's important to go into that intermission and reset and go into the second period as if it's a 0-0 game. We got to get better at compartmentalizing our past. And if we're down 2-0 in the first period, we got to go into the intermission the same way, 0-0 game. Anything can happen. Highs and lows, ebbs and flows. We got to make sure that we watch those.
When you look at today's practice, it was a physical practice. I guess the mindset has to be you guys have to fight your way out of this together and just go at it in practice and bring it to the rink, right?
Yeah, I think our practice habits need to mimic our game, and we gotta play the same way. I mean, it's muscle memory. If we go out there and practice and we work hard and we're physical with each other and we're competitive, it should carry over.
As I said to the guys this morning, and we've got to bring an unwavering level of enthusiasm to what we do every day if we're going to ultimately pull ourselves out of this. And so we all have a conscious choice in how we're going to approach it. It starts with our attitude, and so I thought the guys had a strong practice, competed hard. We got to accomplish what we had set out to do, and we'll go from there.
Just some injury housekeeping. Have any of either Sherry, Edstrom, Igor, Fox, have any of them resumed skating?
No.
Are any of them close to resuming skating?
What's close?
Next week or so?
I think I'd have to check on more specific details because I'm not exactly privy to exactly when they're going on the ice. But I think they're a little bit further away than that.
I'm curious what the balance is. Like you have Murphy obviously is kind of battling this thumb thing. You've got JT looked like he got shaken up and then eventually came back in the game. What's the balance of wanting these guys in the lineup but also wanting to make sure that they're fully healed before they're in?
Well, that's the challenge. All these guys want to play, and the question is can and the reality also is that there's a lot of guys that are playing banged up. That's the nature of the NHL, and so the question is are they healthy enough or feel good enough, feel strong enough to the point where they can make an impact on the game and play the game that sets them up for success. And that's the question that I always try to ask. And we made a decision to pull Remps out of the lineup, for example, because we just felt like it was in watching him, it's been really hard for him to play the game he wants to play. And if you're limited to that point, he can't help the team, and he's not helping himself either, because all it does is build frustration with the player, because there's certain expectations when you pull the jersey over your head that the assumption is that you're healthy enough to make an impact. And so these guys, they want to play, they want to be in the lineup, and the challenge is when guys are working through injuries like that is to figure out where they're at and if they have the ability to make an impact on the game in a positive way. And that's what we try to answer.
You have viewers starting to out for a long period of time. You have a veteran goalie like Jonathan who's played a long time. How do you sort of balance as a coach when knowing when to play him? And you got Spencer Martin you maybe don't know as well. How do you balance sort of the workload in a stretch like this when you're trying to win points, you have a goalie you trust? That's sort of dynamic.
Yeah, it's just another challenge. I think I've talked with Quickie about what our intentions are here and going through this process, and he's really embraced the challenge in front of him. And as I said to you guys, I think when I was asked this question last week, and my response was, and it continues to be, that we're going to feel some of it out. Some of it's just going to be intuition based on what we see. And obviously we want to set Quickie up for success, and we don't want to give him a workload where it becomes diminishing returns, and you get a lesser version of the player because of it. And that's something that we're gonna have to watch. And but we have a game plan sketched out. As I always say to you guys, it's in pencil because it's always subject to change. But part of it's just going to be intuition and feel.
Do you notice, Mike, whether the team plays differently in front of one goalie as opposed to the other goalie? I'm only asking because I think the numbers with Jonathan in there, you guys seem to score like not as much as well.
Yeah, that's not my observation of watching it. That's a hard one. It's not like we're trying to play a certain game depending on who's behind who's backstopping us in goal.
No, one guy might be better at handling the puck or something.
Yeah, well, there's certain, Shesty has elite puck handling skills, and that can help us with breakouts and things of that nature, right? And so, from that standpoint, it might impact our execution rate or our success rate on exits or whatever it may be. But I don't think our guys instinctively are playing a different game. I just don't believe that.
I was a little curious. It's kind of specific. You didn't get a chance to ask last night. Maybe we could kind of talk about it more from a big picture philosophy perspective. But the third goal last night, I'm sure we could point to coverage breakdowns or whatever, but also the timing of the line change in that situation. Like, when guys are at the end of the ship, I'm sure you don't want them out there tired, but also when the puck's coming back the other way, it's kind of, I'm sure it's imperative to get back. So is the line change kind of the biggest mistake on that play? Or
It's one of.
Yeah.
It's one of.
Yeah.
When you go back and look at it, and we watched it this morning as a group, and to try to learn through that experience. And we talk about this stuff all the time, and just situational play. line changes are a critical aspect of being hard to play against. If your line changes are sloppy, you're going to give teams an opportunity to create easy offense. As an extension of that, the decisions you make with the puck are a big part of line changes. So at the start of that, we don't get a puck deep, and we allow them to play 3/4 of the rink. We don't have an opportunity to get a clean line change and get guys on the ice and get them in a posture where they're in a position to defend. Now, coming on the ice, we don't do a great job as far as the decisions we make and the ice that we occupy and positionally where we should be. We lacked ice balance. And, that's an awareness thing and understanding when you come on the ice, situational awareness. But those are the learning experiences, right? And so, once again, it's not any one thing that was the result of that goal. It was a series of events that lead up to the opportunity that was presented
If I
to
could
them.
ask, just piggybacking off of that, something you said about in the line change. Does the guy with the puck know that there's a line, like they're changing? Like, does he have to see it, or is there a trigger that says, okay, I'm going off now?
No, well, you're on the ice for close to a minute. Guys are tired.
Yeah.
You're tired. When you have the puck yourself, you're tired. So the reality is when you're late in shifts, the decisions you make with the puck late in shifts are an important element of being hard to play against. That's situational play. It's situational awareness. It's also game management. And the phrase we use with our guys all the time is put your teammates in good positions when they come on the ice, when they come over the boards, so they don't have to chase the game in scramble mode. And one of the best ways to do that is by making hard plays when you're late in shifts, getting pucks below the goal line, forcing our opponents to have to go the full sheet of the rink, not 3/4 of the ice, where they can quick strike. And now we're jumping on the ice and we're chasing it. And so and like I said, it's not any one. It's not a single decision or a mistake, whatever you want to call it, that results in the puck ended up in your net. Usually it's you chase a mistake with a second mistake or sometimes even a third mistake, and that's the opportunity is we compound the challenge. And that's where we've got to do a better job, and a lot of it is just situational play and situational awareness. When you're late in shifts, make good decisions, get pucks deep, make hard plays, change smart. When you're coming on the ice, know what you're skating into, have an awareness and make sure that you positionally you skate to the right place so we have balance and we're on the right side of the puck, we're on the right side of people, things of that nature. And some of our guys, like this is a work in progress. We got a lot of young guys in the lineup right now.
Is that part of that phrase that you use sometimes, just keeping it simple, just dropping in?
Yeah, I mean, you can use any phrase or adjective you want to describe it. I think for me it boils down to situational awareness and situational play. Decisions you make when you're late in shifts are really important, because usually if I'm late in a shift and I'm tired, my line mates are probably in the same spot. And if I make a decision that's risky, or I make a soft play and they knock a puck down and they play 3/4 of the ice, or they quick strike attack, or we feed their transition game, most of the guys on the ice don't have the juice to defend. If you're early in a shift, well, at least you have some juice. So you have an opportunity to track and get yourself in a posture where you have an opportunity to defend. You're not necessarily, you might be chasing the game, but at least you're chasing the game with juice, right? So that's the conversation. That's the learning opportunity, right? That I think that we're going through, and we've got to do a better job in controlling those situations. If we do, then we're going to give ourselves a better chance to win.
How hard is that? What we're facing with the standings, and you're talking about the young players that are learning on the fly here, trying to turn the season around?
Well, it just that's the world we live in right now, and so we're going to stay in the moment. We're going to try to learn through each experience. We're not going to dwell on anything. We're not going to get overwhelmed by circumstance or the noise. We've got to just stay in the moment, and that's what we're trying to do. We try to get better today. In the film room, we had a spirited practice, and then we'll get excited about the opportunity tomorrow.